Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I think you are having a great sessions at Rising and you are enjoying all the sessions. I hope that this day is also fruitful the way yesterday was. Right, so I am going to talk about a very interesting topic which calls like the rise, the future for future, I think this is working, future ready skill set for diverse workforce. So I'm Ashwini Shingote. I'm working for a company which I will be really talking about. It is already written there, Whirlpool Corporation. But I also wanted to talk about how the product journey happens at the Whirlpool. I will be starting from there. So let me pick your minds for this image and understand what it is. A few seconds. If you can stare at the image and understand what it is. Ice make, okay, I think it was quite a clue already because many of the people have also said that maybe it is an ice cream maker, maybe it is an atta maker, but this, you are rightly said, this is the old, like in 19th century, this was the first laundry machine which was introduced by Whirlpool Corporation. And it is in the journey of 112 years, we are actually improving life at home, and that's how you see how we have transformed our roadmaps, our ecosystem, by giving kitchen and laundry equipments for the connected and smart home system. So you see that how the future has changed in 100 years, right? You see a mechanical washing machine for a certain point of time in 19th century, and now we see all the systems which are refrigerator, laundry machines, washers, dryers, the dishwashers, and cooking appliances are talking with each other and then also reminding that this is all connected system. In the ecosystem, you can always look at what is available in the refrigerator, your app is checking. Based on to your, the diet that you have, the routine you have, the consumption patterns are being defined. Based on that, if there are any if there are any ingredients is not available, it is already talking about how can you order it. Already the app is talking about that. It is ordering already into the crate. And also looking at the cooking systems. You can download your favorite menu and favorite recipe, and it will start automatically cooking with respect to the timing. And before you come home, your microwave oven will keep your favorite dish hot. AC already, the home is already settled at a temperature that you are comfortable with. So all this is possible because of the connected systems, and you have seen that how the technology has evolved over the period. But maybe this is just for a Whirlpool Corporation, not really true, right? It is happening at each and every aspect of workplace, every aspect of our life. So let's look at this next video, which I have picked up from the YouTube, which talks about the journey that how our technologies and digital landscape is evolving. Okay, so the video is actually quite interesting, talking about like how the technology is evolving, right? The phone that you have in each of one's pocket is becoming like a magic wand, right? With respect to that, you can order anything. You just wanted to order the food, you just use Zomato, order through the app. You want to book the car, the car will be there through your app. Any bookings, like airplane tickets or everything that is happening. So all the power is getting pocket into a very small device, very smart, intelligent device, but that is in your hand. So that's what is changing, right? But there is also still question around the change was anyways happening. It was happening when the industrial revolution was happening, when it was happening, when the electricity was innovated. So many times we have seen explorations, then things are happening. So what is different this time? Right? So I have taken a time for just 2030. We are in 2025, and we are just saying 5 years down the line, what is changing and why it is different. Speed at which the technology is changing. We are saying it is at a digital technology is currently changing at an exponential rate, right? Because the time it used to take to adapt the different innovations earlier used to take decades and years, but now the way we are rapidly adapting the digital technology in the very shortest time, it is really exponential. It is tremendous growth that we are changing, tremendous change that we are seeing. It has reasoning. So what does that mean? Everyone used to code earlier, and we used to give the set of instructions that computer has to follow, and we used to give, of course, that if this not path, this decision-making path, go to that path. So, but it was always a set program of things that you have to execute. But now the systems are becoming intelligent. Systems are becoming learning onto the natural data. They are developing a connect with respect to the availability data, learning model, and they're asking, maybe this is they are also questioning. They are putting a logic to it. And that's how they are not operating with respect to a set path that we used to do it earlier. So it has reasoning, it has smart connected powered, and also it has lots of data in the backup. And it is also modular. So any connectivity, earlier it has to be siloed in terms of that this technology is evolving, right? But currently it is modular. You can add each application, each connectivity on top of certain set of ecosystem, which will expand, explode in terms of their outcome and the results that it can provide. Then what is changing? On top of that, workplace dynamics is also changing, where we are talking about there are different workforce dynamics which is going to come by 2030, which is like generation gap, talent skill gap, workforce expectations are changing, techs are driving different trends. We will dwell into that in a detail. And then the future skills which are needed to sustain in this changing dynamics, evolving technology is what is needed. Apart from the technical skills, apart from the data engineering, apart from the AI technology and understanding, the other collaborative skills like digital literacy, emotional intelligence, problem solving, and ethical decision making, these are very, very important aspects going forward that we have to talk about. Talking about a speed of technology, right? How it is impacting us, very close to like one video that I can share with respect to the government of India, how India is also on the verge of this explosion of technology and how we are really adapting it. So let me go through that and then play the video. About the supersonic explosion into the technology and how India is riding on that digital wave. Just to give some anecdotes, like The earlier industrial revolution used to, in 200 years, if I take the train speed, right, we started from somewhere in the steam engine around 9 kilometer per hour, and now it is, if I say the ultra-modern train, which is having the fastest trains in France, TGV, we can take as a reference, it is now running at a 600 kilometer per hour as a speed, right? So 60 kind of a factor, multiplication factor that we can look at. But the way the computer and the computing power is exploding, we are talking about a multiplication factor of 3 million times it is happening. So if I also connect it with the speed, if that could have been a multiplication factor for a train, then the super fast train would have taken a human to a moon in 6.4 seconds, which is that kind of a precedential growth that we are talking about, that how it could have been possible if this have been also happened into the other industrial revolution. So we are really moving at a very, very fast pace. We have to really take that into the mind. Then talking about the workforce dynamics, how it is changing, the first aspect of the workforce dynamics about the generational shift. What is happening in the workplace is that by 2030, you will be seeing that 25% or 75% of the workforce would be Generation Alpha and Generation Z and millennials. So this is like a complete shift into the workplace dynamics. There will be older generations which you are using as a senior leadership positions now. They would have to hand over that baton to the young, native, digital aware people, and then they would be also shaping the workplace dynamics, right? So it is very important aspect about how the Gen Zs and millennials are going to change the workplace into a more digital accelerated work zone. Then talking about the aging workforce and the talent gap. Well, we are talking, as we said, that generation gap, more and more we will be seeing that industries like tech, healthcare, or even the power generation industries, the age gap is increasing. You have seen that in 2020, it was between 20 to 30% the aging population, but in 2030, it is going till 40 to 50%. So what does that mean is that these are the people who are influencing roles, these are the people who are defining architects and entire modular strategy for the organization, but are they equipped also with the well digital skills? That's the thing, right? So, and also the talent gap, when we are saying that, yes, young generation will make the workforce more available, but then are they also coming with the digital skill equipped from their institutes? Right, so there is a lots of talent gap which we are going to see going forward, because the aging gap is not, the aging population is not equipped with the needed digital skills, while in young generation coming from the colleges, institutes are also not equipped with the digital skills needed. That's calling for lots of talent gap. Looking at diversity and inclusion as a standard practice that will become, why we are saying is that the world is a connected place. Going to be a connected place, it's a one big talent hub, right? We can source from anywhere. There is no demographics, there is no regional boundaries. We can always look at getting consultancies, getting support from different regions, different backgrounds, different ethnic groups, as well as there is no biases will be, of course, there are unconscious biases, but there will not be any gender-specific biases also will be needed, because you can work anytime, anywhere, flexible model, so that is going to stay, and then diversity and inclusion is going to become a need of the hour for the workplace, right? Talking about the technological and integration, so, and the AI automation, though your robots might not replace entirely the workplace right now, though the science fictions are going to get through some time, but then currently we have to work with the robots, right? We have to work with the machines. We have to really work with the automation strategy. Almost, the Gartner study says that by 2030, 75% of the job that we are doing would get automated. And you see that the everyday examples, if you go to the, like I came from, while traveling from Bangalore, Pune to Bangalore, I came through Digiyatra, paperless work, right? Everything is automated, you just walk through. Similarly, you are seeing that the droppage at the airports, etc., that is also becoming very human touchless, right? So everything is getting automated. Our workplace, many processes you might be seeing that those are also getting automated. We will see lot much of working integration skills which might be needed to really drive that. Then talking about the workforce dynamics around the flexibility, the remote and hybrid work is going to stay here. COVID has given us some flavor. Yes, it can work. There are again two different streams, but going forward, this would be a workplace need. Otherwise, the organizations will not able to hire a great talent. As there is a talent scarcity, talent gap, we have to really look at the possible flexible workplace and pick up talent from a different places and give more and more flexibility as that becomes dynamics for the workplace. Talking about gig economy, I don't know how many people are knowing around this, but we are talking about where the permanent jobs might not be that critical going forward, right? We were into the era where we were working for one company, or maybe we were hopping into, say, few different other companies by changing different streams. But going forward, as the talent gap will be there, there are only few resources or the workforce which will be equipped with the necessary digital skill, and they want to give their services to different other organizations. So that's why the freelancing or the contract workforce will change. Our work policies has to adapt to this new way of working, where more contract, where we were earlier using it as just an extension or the flexible workforce, but now we will be using it as a more of a talent house, talent force. Talking about health and wellness, I think many organizations are getting benefited with that. They are already taking up this as a lever to really maintain the engagement into the workplace, and that will continue. The important part is the balance between the health and the work. Those lines are getting blurred, and it will further get blurred going forward. So it is important that that balance can be maintained, and that there are policies in the workplace around driving that balance. Then I will be quickly moving to the future skill sets. I will quickly cover those. I think with respect to the time, maybe I'm getting pressed upon. So I think these are the four things which are very, very important as imperatives that we are driving in terms of the skill set. Digital literacy as a part of how do we handle data, how we are like having a safe into the digital world, how we maintain our digital identity, how we really analyze, apply, and get data, and also secure data. So this all is all about digital literacy, and we have to be having these skills developed. The native, I think, young generation is already knowing about. They are getting born and brought up into the digital ecosystem. But as our workplace, where the generation gaps are, we have to really have hands-on digital literacy experience. Talking about the emotional intelligence, we always talk about artificial intelligence. To balance with it, like emotional intelligence would be a priority, which talks about more around the being human, right? The human skills around empathy, social skills, self-awareness, motivation, and the self-regulation perspective, which are going to drive the next generation soft skills and the collaboration skills when we are working with the humanoids. Then critical thinking is also important aspect which talks about the problem solving. We looked at creative thinking will also be taken up by AI, right? We are talking about if you have to mail, if you have to send an invitation, you take care of through AI, you can definitely do it. But what happens when there are problems? Right? So that where the future skills has to be developed in terms of analyzing the data, giving the proper reasoning, and then coming to the solutions. It's a very important skill, not taught into the institutions. Only when we venture into the business world, organization, and the workplace there, we get to see problems, and we keep on tackling it through the critical thinking way. Then talking about the ethical decisions, we always talk about the ethical AI and practices, processes. For that, this skill is also very important, where there is a balance between how much autonomy we give and how much we really talk about the control, compliance, governance, which is like avoiding harm and basically doing good for the society, for the larger population, right? So those all four skills would be very important. And then of course, there are challenges and solutions which we can really walk through. Digital skill awareness to Gen Zs is still, in terms of the digital ecosystem, is known, but not like what is needed for the data accuracy, governance, data quality. Many of the aspects which is at the background, they have to learn. So we have to develop many co-development programs with the institutes have the industry tie-ups with respect to developing their curriculum. That will help. Skill gap with respect to the current workforce, upskilling, reskilling, training. We talked about it in the earlier sessions as well. Keeping ourselves updated and really leveraging yourself and learning continuously, that is needed. Technical skills we are talking about, which are overrated. When interviewing, we need to also look at the critical thinking and the other soft skill looking with the emotional intelligence as well. And there would be skills which will not be available locally. We have to have our workplace policies geared up to work from anywhere, source talent from anywhere, as well as work profile changes, which would be also done through with, because many of the jobs will be automated, right? And the AI agents that we will be working with. So we need to proactively understand and really mitigate those job losses or mitigate those action plans where we have to really talk, we have to proactively identify an opportunity to convert that into the relearning space instead of job loss, right? So I will leave you with this last thought, which talks about by 2030, 60 million jobs will be created or transformed. So it also says that there will be 60 million jobs. There could be a possibility of losing that. But it can also be transformed into the needed workforce with respect to the digital ecosystem and landscape. And is your organization or you also ready to seize this opportunity, because things are changing at a very faster pace? You and me need to gear up for all this aspect to accelerate the digital economy journey. Thank you.